hands out! Wow!
The blood-curdling screams of an unhinged passenger, crazed, threatening.
Don't get away from me. I will you.
And terrified. Midair, he lunges at a flight attendant.
No, listen, baby. Give me a kiss. He's like,
Crew and passengers with nowhere to go.
sit down now!
Qantas, for its part, has said only that it will not tolerate any threatening or disruptive behaviour. It is aware of the incident. The crew is being debriefed. They'll provide more detail once that happens. From what we understand, the man was detained by Australian Federal Police and has since been taken to hospital after that Midair emergency. Gavin?
Ed, and thanks for the update.
Now, of course, we could not end 2023 without a bang, without another bizarre plane story where somebody was possessed by a demon. You are now within minutes of horror, and in this video, we're going to do just that. We're going to look at a story where a man last night was traveling from Bali to Australia and acting like he was possessed by a demon. Now, here's what I find bizarre about these plane stories. As of 2023, we have seen an explosion of scary and terrifying plane stories. From a Chinese man seeing a stewardess changing out her batteries and seeing people from Hollow Earth, to a Russian man who saw the ghost of 3 Wagner Group mercenaries just right before the Wagner Group mercenary leader, his plane goes down. Then we had that woman who was on American Airlines that saw an MFer on her plane. Then we had Tom Calling, among others, the British boxer from the United Kingdom, and whatever the hell he saw. We still do not know his whereabouts or his location, or any updates to his story whatsoever. But as we got closer to the latter half of 2023, things started to shift. Things started to oddly change. People were no longer seeing something on their flights causing them to panic. But now, people are acting like they're possessed by something and absolutely losing their mind. There was a woman in November on a Frontier Airlines flight who started screaming and climbing over seats, claiming she had been kidnapped, and a fellow passenger had to pray over her, claiming this woman was possessed. Then again in November, we had an Iowa man charged after allegedly attempting to open the cabin doors, but passengers were saying he was scratching and clawing at the cabin door. He was screaming and yelling about demons. It took about 3 men to try to take him down, and these men were saying that Wesley Urban had very unusual strength. And once they were able to subdue him, instantly after being subdued, he says, "What's going on? Where am I? What's happening?" It's like as if he snapped out of something. This is just a few examples of people acting like they've been overcome by something on these planes in the latter half of 2023. So like I said, these people are no longer seeing something, but they're being overtaken by something. Coincidence may have it, this story here is very similar to the Iowa man Wesley Urban. Qantas passenger is detained on flight between Bali and Melbourne after attacking cabin crew. And like I said, this story happened last night. A man who had gone crazy has been detained on a flight between a popular holiday destination and one of Australia's busiest airports. The man had to be restrained by cabin crew after allegedly attacking a staff member on Qantas flight QF46 between Bali and Melbourne. The airline confirmed an incident occurred during the flight in the early hours of Sunday morning. After the plane touched down, Australian Federal Police officers boarded it and questioned the Victorian man, who is 28, before he was taken for a medical assessment at a hospital. There are no charges that have been laid at this stage. Witnesses posted footage to social media showing the man being held down on the floor and being surrounded by flight attendants, one whom was kneeling on his back. These flight attendants had to pin this man down and restrain him for almost 4 hours of the flight. The flight attendant stated, the 4 hours they tried to pin this man to the ground and keep him on the ground, he was growling, screaming, and acting very aggressive. But before successfully pinning this man to the ground, it took about 3 or 4 men. They had a hard time bringing this man down. He also exhibited unusual strength as well. Now, there isn't much more information coming out from the news and media about what took place on this plane, but more and more passengers are coming out to social media telling about their experience of what they saw on this flight. One passenger who was sitting next to this man or close to this man said this man was fine, he was normal for most of the flight. Then out of nowhere, he just started to scream. Another passenger stated not only was this man screaming, but he was acting very sexual. He was making sexual gestures. We see a part of that sexuality on camera where he's grabbing one of the flight attendants and he's telling her, "No, baby, give me a kiss," while he tries to grab her arm. He also tells another flight attendant, "If you come any closer, I will F you." Now, a man named Pires de Silva, who is traveling to Melbourne with his wife and 2 children, said the man was screaming. And as he was being tackled, as he was being subdued, he was screaming, stating he is looking for his mother and father, asking where is his mother and father. So it seems like as he was being subdued, just like Wesley Orban, he was snapping out of it and asking for his mother and father. We have another person that stated 3 or 4 passengers were taking him down and keeping him on the floor, and that happened throughout all the flight until we touched down in Melbourne, stating it was pretty scary, to be honest. This 28-year-old man, before being tackled, was climbing over seats and scratching and attacking at passengers. He was clawing at passengers. He was even, as reported by some of the passengers, trying to bite them. The passengers had a very hard time subduing this man, but once the flight attendants got involved, once the staff got involved, they were able to successfully restrain this man, and nobody was harmed or injured. So this begs the question, what exactly is happening here on these airplanes? I feel like I say this in every one of my airplane videos, but like I said in every one of my airplane videos, we're just not seeing this on other modes of transportation. Even though, outside of cars, planes are one of the more popular ways to travel, but still the other modes of transportation are just as popular. We're talking about buses, trains, cruises. And I would think we would see more of these incidents on cruises as opposed to planes, if we are talking that this is alcohol or drugs related, because more people like to party and drink and take drugs on cruises, like Royal Caribbean or Carnival. But we're just not seeing these stories come out. If they are, nobody's recording it. They're only whipping out their phones on these airplanes. People fighting one another on subways and buses goes together like peanut butter and jelly. Matter of fact, if I don't see people fighting on a subway or a bus, then I'm disturbed. I think something's wrong here. But these airplanes are something else entirely. People are not only seeing things that are not there, seeing things that are not real, but they're acting like they're possessed by some kind of entity. Now, yes, there are people that are mentally ill. There are people that are crazy. But if you are a person that believes demons are real, demonic possession is real, if this is not demonic possession, then what exactly does demonic possession look like? This man on this flight from Bali to Australia has all the characteristics of a classic demonic possession. He is very sexual. He is very aggressive. He also has abnormal strength. It took multiple people to pin him down, and the passengers were not successful in pinning this man down. These 3 to 4 passengers, they could not pin this man down until the other flight attendants were able to get involved. So if this is a case of somebody who is mentally ill, because I see this comment pop up a lot of times in my airplane videos about people who are mentally ill. I even had one person say that they're mentally ill. They know all the characteristics of somebody who is going through mental illness, going through a breakdown. But then one has to ask, are mentally ill people only flying planes? Are they only using planes as their only source of public transportation? 1 or 2 times, yeah, these people could be mentally ill. Yeah, these people could have taken drugs. They could have drank too much alcohol. 1 or 2 times is a coincidence. But like I said, as of 2023, there is just an explosion of these stories, and only on planes. So you would have to explain that. The only thing that I can think of, if it's not demonic possession, if it has nothing to do with demons, is that it's voice-to-skull technology. The military has stated they do have voice-to-skull technology inside their airports to scare the birds away. So could these people be targeted individuals, causing them to go insane? Could these be MK Ultra victims? But whatever is happening here, it indeed is only happening on airplanes. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support, and I do hope that you do have a very happy New Year's.